Oh wait, well then... I just loaded in, so why would I need to save? Wieder. I'm joking.
Hold it!
Exactly. The fifth age came up, so it's almost super up. No worse things to be known as, I suppose. First, what happened with the search? The card disappeared? Yeah, my trump card, the 5 of hearts. But the card was nowhere to be found, is this correct? Never in my long storied career. Never has quit. Oh really? So what did happen to that 5 of hearts? Don't look at me, nothing else can achieve my two-faced defense. So the 5 of hearts is still missing in action.
Hold it!
Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's up? You searched Mr. Wright thoroughly and found nothing? Which means he didn't cheat, which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Well... What was that just now? I sensed something. Something wrong, Mr. Justice? No, nothing, Your Honor. What to do? Should I press a little harder? Miss Orley, you're hiding something. What are you talking about? The defense will refrain from baseless accusations. I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? A witness, for instance, Miss Orr. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? Touching her neck, was it? Whoa, what's going on? The sensation, it's coming in focus. There, that twitch is so clear. Like I could perceive her habit like I couldn't before.
Gotcha!
Miss Orley, perhaps you're unaware of this yourself. Unaware of what? Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand. My neck? So what? What indeed, Justice? I hadn't noticed anything of the sort. When she says that part of her testimony, she's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to memory, and she touches her neck. Sure of it. Memory? Would someone care to explain what he's babbling about? This is highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. Okay. Sheesh, chill out, old man. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence of this memory to show us? Her habit is scratching her neck whenever she talks about the moment of crime. So what would remind her most of the moment of the crime? Miss Orley, whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. Notice that happens when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be some reason behind this habit. I believe the weapon that left in... inerasable impression on your neck is this?
Take that!
Uh-oh, no, that's not it. Let's try that again. Whenever she talks about the moment of crime, she touches her neck. What reminds us more of that moment than this ball? Something doesn't fit. If you were only a witness to a crime, why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain? What's he talking about now? Was Mr. Smith the victim who was... Not you. This is a cross-examination, not cross-file conjecture. The witness's habits? They're completely irrelevant. Justice, I'll admit I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later, just trust me. Now's our only chance to prove it. Miss Orley, please testify in detail about the moment of crime. The very moment. Here we go again. We know you're not Russian. The witness will testify, please. Now. Okay. He's one who did it. I didn't let him out of my sight until the cops got him. You didn't?
Objection!
Miss Orley, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It states that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call from the first floor of the Boat Club. So, explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. The man who picked up a bottle and swung that night wasn't the defendant. What? The victim was already dead, is that it? That's why I couldn't reveal who it really was. If it came out that I was in need of Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure. Well, where does this leave us? Madness! This is madness! I'm dreaming! No, this is Sparta. It must be me who was hit with a bottle, and I'm imagining all of this. It appears our prosecution is at his wit's end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think about this turn of events? Mr. Gavin? Sir? I believe that, as the defense in this case, we are compelled to call Miss Orley a big fat liar. What? 3 were in the room the night of the murder. The defendant, the victim, and her. And she has a motive. A motive? Her plot foiled, the witness got into an argument with her client, Mr. Smith. And the denouement of that argument was murder. What? I didn't... I'm no killer. It's trapped. Someone's trying to frame me. What tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled, we catch ourselves in the process. Mr. Wright? Such a hasty conclusion. Not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider any other possibility? And there was another person in the room at the time of the murder. Right, like Mr. Wright was saying before recess. A single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder. And the one who swapped the card didn't know 2 colours of cards would be used. A 4th. This theory again. Your 4th person doesn't exist. Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, there is no escape and no chance for deception. The perfect place to catch the real criminal. The real criminal? And, fair enough, the clue to the real criminal's identity was kindly provided for us. Right at the beginning of the trial, no less. What? Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about. Sorry. Remember I said? The 4th person who solved the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the colour on the backs of the cards. Right, but how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet, there is one person here in our school who thought those cards were blue. Yeah, I had an impression too, but why? Well, Apollo, think you can figure out who it was? It's not me, I swear!
Who is this 4th person?
Why do I always get put on the spot like this? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards used in the final game were blue?
Take that!
As I expected. Your eyes and ears are as sharp as your hair. I was right? Christoph Gavin, you were the 4th person that night. But of course Mr. Gavin knows the colour of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which of the cards are blue. The ones on the floor or the table. But look! You can see the colours in this photo. Yes, but when he said the cards were blue, it was well before this evidence came to light. It is true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim, yet it was only that. A game, in the pure sense, a competition. Well, Christoph? Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Gavin, something the matter?
No, nothing. Excuse me, it was just so sudden. Right, you aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh? Christoph? You know even I'd never take a joke this far. This has gone beyond ridiculous, beyond dumb, this is insanity! I assure you, I'm quite sane. But what possible connection can Mr. Gavin have to the victim? I wasn't aware I had a connection to Mr. Smith either. Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met. Well, what if they have? Huh? There is a possibility, after all. They may have met that night before the game started.
What are you suggesting?
Is this the truth Mr. Wright was staying silent about? Well, only one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request an explanatory report. The defense would like to request no such thing. Mr. Gavin? Testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happening before that game of poker be related?
Oh, Mr. Gavin?
As I explained before, the defense believes that
Mr. Justice in this. He is the defense, not you. Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony?
No need. Yeah, his testimony. This was the right strategy. I was planning this all along. I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. And true, Justice? You would betray me, your teacher? I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin. This isn't about loyalty. This is about the truth.
Very well, the defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand, please.
That evening, Christoph and I had dinner. We sat at a table in his photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Christoph left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold, and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, bloodstream from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call. The defense attorney Gavin.
Mr. Gavin, you at the Borscht Bowl Club the night of the murder?
I dine with him rather frequently. And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder? Quite against my will, I had become involved in murder. I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, Wright? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth, as I did back then and now. I thought my office was doing you a favour when we took on your defence. It appears I was wrong.
Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness.
Justice? Sir? He's lying, and you're going to expose him. Understood, sir. How can you be so sure on that? Mr. Gavin versus Mr. Wright. This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? You had dinner with Mr. Gavin? Yes, he dined with me at the Borscht Bowl Club quite frequently. We're enjoying the usual dinner at our usual spot, as usual. Usual? I always eat at the table closest to the piano.
I see, where Mr. Smith was sitting.
So the plates and such on the table from your dinner? Indeed. The remnants of my meal with Christoph. We dined for 2 hours, then Christoph left. After that...
Hold it!
5 minutes? So, 2 of them could have passed in the restaurant during that time? That would have been a fateful encounter to be sure. Oh, Mr. Wright, what was it you said? Christoph Gavin and Shady Smith may have met? I believe I did say that. Yeah, I was all nervous about this meeting, and now we hear they just passed in the hall.
That does seem a little weak as a pretense for murder.
Oh, it would be, if that were all that really happened. Come on, Mr. Wright. What are you hiding this time? About this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Olga Orley mentioned? The plan was simple, elegant really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. Yes, a harmless prank in essence. It was by a quirk of fate I after the discovery. A quirk? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found the Kachi planet. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was a five of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed the card. Before. Disposed? Where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I read the card inside the bottle. An empty bottle of grape juice? The murder weapon! Yes, I rolled it up and shoved it in. The coloured glass makes it harder to see. A battle of wits between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. That sounds like terrific drama. The card inside the murder weapon? That's strange. Did the police miss in their investigation? Maybe I'll take a look. Mr. Wright, the pokehead of courtroom number 3 approves of this battle of wits. Please revise your testimony with this new information. Save. Present.
Objection!
And a contradiction in my brain, apparently. Nope. Like I said, clearly it's a contradiction in my brain. So then
Objection!
why in the ball? I perceived my opponent's intent to use to entrap me, see? And he was point.
Ho ho! So you struck first. I like that.
I know every trick in the book. They don't work on me. At least when you get lucky and stick your hand in your pocket, they don't.
My attorney's badge.
Objection! Hold it!
You made the call to the police from the first floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. So I found some gas signal down in the hideout. Was anyone else on the first floor at that time? Or so. It was the middle of the night after. So there, in the darkened restaurant, I called the cops. For making the call, I returned to the hideout. Didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress. When you returned, the victim was already dead. Yes. That myth was a little startled when I walked in. Little? He was bleeding from his forehead. I guess I'd be startled too if I walked in a scene like that. That's what I mean, no.
Hold it!
Could you explain why you called Mr. Gavin? I'd obviously gotten involved in a rather sticky. I figured Kristoff's law officers would give me a friend rate for my defense fees. Glad to hear you intend to pay. Oh, I'll pay in full, Kristoff. It was I who got you involved after. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high. Is this the truth now Mr. Webb was talking about? Justice, you know what you have to do. He's lying. Expose him now.
Objection!
My brain... Yep, that confirms that my brain's faulty.
Objection! Objection! Hold it! Objection!
Huh.
Objection!
Oh, it turns out I was on the right line of thought. I just needed to examine the bottle again. Mr. Wright, if I may? Yes. I've examined the bottle, and I don't see any card in here. No? What, Mr. Wright? Surely isn't all you've got to say for yourself? I can't say that I know what happened to the card. I did put in that bottle, however. Huh? Perhaps a fifth person came and took it out? Oh, and a sixth person took it out? Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client. My apologies, Your Honor. I won't have you disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside that bottle. There was nothing. So what's going on? Did Mr. Wright hoodwink us again? Or did the card just disappear? In any case, please continue the cross-examination. I'm afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence. Oh. Push him harder, Justice. Break him. Just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO. Why do I get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore? I'm gonna have to give this some thought. Never mind, that was not a dumbass moment. Mr. Wright, if I may? Yes? Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. Justice, next time you point out an inconsistency, a little more
Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court?
Ah, I forgot to mention something. I was the one who put that hat on his head. Eh?
You put the hat on the dead man's head?
It was your entire poker game. After calling the police when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view, shining bright, just like in this photo. I got up off the floor and put it on his head. Why'd you do a thing like that? All I can say is, I'm sorry. And that's the only thing I touched at a crime scene. So, Miss Orr, you didn't see it? It being the victim's, his head? I'd think not. Sure that cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head. Ah, here we go again. Mr. Gavin? Pardon? It just seems that our client is determined to lie his way through the case. Hey, he's just our client, isn't he? I believe that's enough of that. Mr. Gavin? This witness's testimony is more like a travesty, riddled with lies. I'm beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Christoph. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone. Mr. Wright, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. Don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here. Eh? But I noticed the trap, how I put the card in the bottle to dispose of it. And when I put in the hat on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well.
A reason?
That reason is right here. Your cell phone? That night, recall I spoke with Defense Attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case, I recorded our conversation. What's this? Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back to the court. Christoph, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well? Something like that. That gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be good? He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him hard. You mean someone cracked that flawless bone china pate? It wasn't you, was it? Me? Please, the cops should be here any minute. I mean, your hands should have come to that. Bone china plate? A kind of porcelain, very smooth and shiny. And not plate, but paint. I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead.
The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead.
Wait a second, something's not right about that phone call. So, after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, you left the Borscht Bowl Club? Most certainly. Then how do you know? When did you see this bone china pate?
Oh, that's right.
Yes, and that was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. And when I spotted Mr. Smith's head again, I realized exactly what was it. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court? Exactly how did you come by your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So, this is your reason. The reason why you put the victim's hat back on. Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, has it, Felix Wright?
Order? I will have order. Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear Defense Attorney Gavin's testimony?
Well, as a prosecutor,
Very well, we'll break for 10 minutes, after which Mr. Gavin will take the stand for cross-examination. Are we all clear on that?
Crystal clear, Your Honor.
Very well, this will be a final recess for the day.
Appeal 20. 2:32 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. Mr. Gavin and Mr. Rai are both in the judge's chamber. Who'd have thought today would turn out like this? May I? Huh? What? Hello, sir. Please pick a card. What's this all about? Is this one okay? Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it. A trump card? The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely, and the game is yours. An ace? Where do I remember that card from? Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces, and Mr. Wright's 2. These 5 aces in all. It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. The missing 5th ace? Wait, this blotch of red. Is this blood? You have your trump card. And also please let me enjoy. My father's faith in you. This bloodstained card is my trump card for finding the truth? I fell deep in the thought as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. That girl, I'd seen her recently, but where? That's when I made the connection. Bloody ace added to the court record. Court will now reconvene. Defense Attorney Christoph Gavin, will you please take the stand? Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor. Will the witness state his name and occupation?
Is this fast necessary, Your Honor? Believe me, far stranger things have gone on in this courtroom. Fine, I'll play on. First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. A single drop of blood marks the front of the card. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat? By secret, I'm guessing means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald? Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an inordinate interest in it.
Objection!
I wouldn't call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Wright? What do you think you're doing, Wright? Wow, things sure look different from the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo. Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taking it off, except for at one time. At one time? Being the instant he was hit. Oh! When Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime, the hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, he would have had to have been there in the hideout at the time of the crime. In other words, I must be the real killer, is what you're trying to say. Not bad, Apollo. Mr. Gavin, I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court. What? Oh, I assure you, I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to take my client as life. Yet, I'm afraid in the current situation, I see little reason to hide it. Very well, allow me to tell you the truth of what happened last night. Finally, you may begin your testimony. Tell us, how were you involved in the events on that fateful night? The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout. It's been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead as he appears in the photo. A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that was not the best place for me to be at the time, and so I left. That's when the call came from Wright.
So, you witnessed the murder?
For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed. Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you are on Mr. Wright's defense team? Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client. What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness stand, after all. So you are Mr. Gavin. And you had to testify as you just did. You had to tell them you saw the scene of a crime via a little window. Mr. Wright? You had to say that, because that was the only probable window of opportunity. Right, Apollo?
Oh,
Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared?
yes, Your Honor.
I can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. This trial is getting weirder and weirder. Yep, that second face is pretty much the first sign of evil.
Hold it!
That man? You mean Mr. Smith? He was different from the other customers. His aura, shall we say. I knew he was a serious poker player, but it was more than that. Wait for my friend, I resumed to return to the club. You see, I feared this Mr. Smith might be somewhat coming to settle a new score. I see, what happened then?
Hold it!
The little window. You mean the one used to keep watch up the stairs? Yes, a relic of the ancient past. The black marketeers used it, I believe. Why did you go through the trouble of peeking in through the window? Wouldn't it have been easy to just open the door and go in the room? I didn't want to upset Wright, you see. Upset Mr. Wright? Yes, what if my fears have been unfounded? They're walking in on their match. Bad form, to say the least. So far, everything you're saying makes sense.
Hold it!
How do you know it was right after the murder? Really, no need to shout, Justice. I was just getting into that part of my testimony. Ah, there he is. The coolest defense in the West. Even when you're standing up now in the witness stand, something's gonna change. I was afraid you'd change too, right? But you haven't. You and that overbearing personality of yours? Friends like these? Who needs enemies?
Hold it!
By photo, you mean the second photograph of the crime scene? Precisely. You see, he wasn't wearing his hat then. I saw his head when he was dead. And then Mr. Wright came along and replaced his hat.
Can you describe the scene of the crime for us?
Hold it!
Those were the only three at the scene of the crime? Yes, as far as I saw at least.
Then we're back where we started. The killer was the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could it be? But why didn't you talk to the police?
2 reasons. First, I didn't actually witness any moment of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend.
Objection!
There must have been someone else there at the moment of crime. Justice, I just said I saw no one, not a soul. But that goes against what Mr. Wright said. He was the 4th person. Ah, yes, this mysterious 4th person. He would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose. Glad to see we agree, Mr. Galvin. Let me pose a question. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap cards in the victim's hand? Perhaps you can show us the reason why such a thing would be necessary? How can I show someone I can't find myself? Remember, Apollo, the card that was swapped out was a fifth ace. The fifth ace? Right.
Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out a card has been raised. Can you point to a reason? Not yet.
Now or never. The defense would like to present evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why a card was swapped out.
Then go ahead and point out your reason, Mr. Justice. Why did the killer take the fifth ace?
Take that!
My reason is this. Is that an ace?
Why? Why, it's got blood on it! Right next to the spade! What?
This is insane! Why wasn't I told about this? Why?
Could this be the missing fifth ace? Inconceivable. How could you? What are you doing with that card?
Well, that's the thing.
Why is Mr. Gavin so upset? It's just a fishy card from some fishy girl.
Oh, that card? That is, I picked it up at the Bowl Club one night after murder. Gave it to my daughter. Cards are her stock in trade.
Objection!
No, impossible, unacceptable. The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud.
A fraud? How can you be so sure?
What?
I would think the only person who could claim was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. Allow me to elaborate. What if this trace of blood was the reason? The reason for the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime.
Why are you doing this?
Take another look at the photo and at the victim's head. At the moment of the crime, his hat fell onto the floor, and a trickle of blood ran from his forehead down the back of his head. Couldn't a drop of that blood have fallen on one of the cards? I suppose. The killer then took the card to hide the blood.
Objection!
Regardless, another evidence is non-permissible.
Oh?
Right, regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence.
Oh, we can discuss the finer points of our legal system later. What's important now is that I've answered your question.
What are you talking about?
You need to know why the killer would have taken a card from the crime scene? And now I've told you. That one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence.
Objection!
This is baseless conjecture. Baseless!
Objection!
Oh, are you sure you was quite based?
What?
It's amazing, really, how a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo?
Yes?
Try picturing the scene of crime in your head. The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found on the poker table, and before the killer swapped the card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it in the victim's hand. Given this, there is one decisive problem in the scene.
Well, what is it?
Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on the card, whose position in the diagram doesn't fit? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses?
Take that!
The second witness's position is the problem.
The second witness? That would be Mr. Gavin, yes?
The second witness's position is far less problematic than yours right now, Justice. Or perhaps perilous is a better word.
Fuck.
How does fuck off sound?
Take that!
Take a look at the photo again. Damn it, I was right all along. I thought it was that, but I thought, no. What if he went in from any opportunity? Incidentally, we're sitting in swivel chairs. Swivel chairs? Oh man. Oh shit. Can't swivel in this chair because I nearly knocked the fan off. The chair was facing the other way? It would have to be. So, we have to assume that at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table. When Mr. Wright returned to informing the police, what way was the chair facing? When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in this photo. Oh yeah, they are swivel chairs. That would mean the killer turned the chair back around. Let's take the next step. Look at the diagram once more. We know now the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction. Again? Let's test your reasoning skills again, shall we? Apollo, whose location on the diagram contradicts some new understanding of time? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses?
Take that!
The victim was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? St. Mary's indicates for 20 years. I'd think it'd be quite hard. Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall in the middle of a game? I believe a sufficient reason will soon come to light. What? There's something in this diagram makes far less sense, actually. Look again at the diagram. Apollo, the victim was struck while he was sitting as shown here. Now it is a assailant standing. Observe the mark when the killer should be. Don't worry, let's think of it and see. We know the victim was facing toward the wall at the time of the crime. That's anything we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. Why would the killer have to be standing to strike our victim from the front?
Take that!
Nope. Yeah, time for a bit more teeny, I guess. This is taking longer than expected.
Take that!
I would use... Simple logic, really. This was the only place the killer could have been standing. And that means that, at the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know! At the moment of the crime, the cupboard... I mean, that's the only explanation, right, Mr. King? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard in the hideout immediately. Bailiff, send a team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard. Ah, Your Honor. What? There's one more thing your men should look for. Please give this to the baby. Yes, I see. You do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright. I do my best. Let's forge ahead here. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. The killer was standing here at the time of the crime, and this cupboard wasn't here. Which means... Apollo, try moving the cupboard. Thank you. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the murder, it has to have been as shown here. Now everything is in place to reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my, what's this? Look at the diagram in the crime scene once more. It appears we found yet another contradiction. What I believe to be the final contradiction, in fact. Huh? Oh, damn. Notice something, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion. Now then, Mr. Justice, please point to the new contradicting indicator. Did the victim, the killer, the witness, the second witness?
Take that!
About this cupboard. Are we all okay with assuming it was moved? Sure, why not? Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the window to the stairs. That's right, there's someone standing outside and we have to see in. Someone like Mr. Gavin. What? What did you say? Oh, is the coolest defense in the West losing its cool? Didn't expect me to play along with your little game, right? It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. And someone was. While the window to that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court? Exactly, where did you witness the crime scene from? Excuse me, Your Honor. Order. This is a court of law and it will have order. We just now received word from our investigative team at the Bosch Bowl Club. They've examined the cupboard in the hideout, Your Honor. Oh, and what did they find? Well, Your Honor, it turns out there is a secret passage. What? Yes, I believe I mentioned something of the sort before. This is one of the tricks that many of our regulars know about. I do remember him saying something about that, now I mention it. A secret passage is a handy thing to have when you're engaged in legal goings-on. You never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. So the room has a secret passage? Where does it go? The other side connects to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses could get away from the cops. And enjoy a cold bowl of borscht, no doubt. Just like our killer. You see our line of simple deductive reasoning has led us, Apollo? I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I needed this trump card for the last hand. the time of the murder, the window was blocked, and the victim's hat was only off his head for the few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin? Come on, say something. Though I ask what really happened that night? Actually, I think we can probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith. A date with destiny. There he crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard, holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then the chance came, and he took it. This old goalie was out cold, struck by Mr. Smith. But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Shady Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious killer. Then our killer stepped out from the secret passage and into the hideout. The victim must have heard the cupboard sliding aside. He wheeled his chair around to look, and after the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the car. He would have, of course, realized the need to destroy the evidence. A single spot of blood told the whole story of the crime. Too bad for him, he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor. And the fact that they were all red.
Well, it seems this trial has taken yet another turn. I'm truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin.
Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Payne,
Yes, Your Honor?
the prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant, he is hereby cleared of all suspicion. Believe me when I say that I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin, but I'm afraid circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest.
Objection!
Immediately.
No need to apologize. I rather enjoyed myself. It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin? Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked that a person of your caliber will be taken in by such a low-grade horror trick.
Excuse me?
The defendant is cleared of all suspicion. This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he has done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else, and not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney.
Illegal evidence?
Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin, is there still any reason at present to suspect me of wrongdoing? Of course, this bottle, for instance. The bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking. How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints in the murder weapon? And not just any fingerprints. Am I right, Mr. Payne? Actually, yes. The fingerprints on the bottle were upside down. Huh? I seem to recall this being an issue earlier. The court, in this case, demanded an explanation. I think of only one reason why one would throw the bottle upside down, and that is to hit someone on the bottom of the bottle. Well, Your Honor? See how the caught fish squirms to the last, well, Apollo? Yes? Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. I'm sure I can come up with a suitable explanation, just like that. Yeah. Just like what? Why would anyone grab a ball outside of a tip? So I'm shaking, thinking his explanation is only legitimate. Is there really another? Take another look at the call record. I believe you'll find the simple answer there, in plain sight. How about you just say the answer in plain words? It would be hasty to deliver a verdict with unanswered questions indeed. Well, Mr. Justice? Mr. Gavin said that the court in this case demanded an explanation. Don't worry, justice won't leave until justice is done. Perhaps the defense would care to enlighten the court. What evidence do you have to explain why the fingerprints in the bottle are upside down? No clues here. It's actually easier to show you than explain, Your Honor. Place that bottle on the floor next to your chair. Excuse me, on the floor? Yes. Now, reach down and pick it up. Without getting out of your chair. Ah! See? You naturally go to pick up the ball by the neck. With your fingers upside down. Look at this photograph taken on the night of murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat here. Playing piano, bottles of grape juice on the floor to the side of his piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the bowls upside down several times.
Wow, I can't believe it was that simple.
They call our dinner that evening, Christoph. I was drinking my usual juice then too. Basically, you used the bowl on the table to do the deed. And then you must have remembered. So you went and picked up one of the bowls from under the piano, and you switched the bowls. You took one of Mr. Wright's bowls and made it look like the murder weapon.
Order! 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 What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin?
Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? You claim that I switched the bottle? Where is your proof? Proof? Well, that's, as I thought, more baseless conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is I don't be so sure about that. Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, do you recall I requested an additional investigation?
Ah, yes, I have your memo about that here. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the Borscht Bowl Club.
And here's one of the bottles in question. What, are you going to dust that? Are you going to dust that for fingerprints too? I'd be surprised if anyone but his. Mr. Gavin probably made such an obvious mistake, true. That bottle won't bear a trace of anything. Hey, Apollo? Yes? Why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle? But why? Just humour me. Mr. Wright, that bottle will solve this case once and for all. What? That's some bottle. There's something inside the bottle. What's this? That card. It can't be. Recall that unpleasant woman's testimony. Miss Olgoli? Yes, a little swindling devotion. That night I planned the card like I was supposed to, and Mike lost the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Wait, this isn't... You're telling me that this is the planet card you disposed of? The one you mentioned in this piece of testimony? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found the card. Yes, that's not indicative and found there was that 5 hearts. And feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before a game. Disposed where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice that I'd been drinking right beside me. Read the card inside the bottle. The 5 of hearts. This is the card. The balls were swapped. And the only one who could have done that was the 4th person in the club that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin. May the force be with you. I never liked that lobster. I demand a refund. That is all. Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright? Revenge? Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago? My past is like my logic, straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little tear-tear right.
This is insane! What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone?
I believe this time we finally come to the end of our trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin?
He's admitted everything. We're processing his arrest now.
I see. Still, one has to wonder why he would do such a thing. He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he?
None that we know of.
Mr. Wright, have you anything to add? I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter. About this victim, Mr. Shady Smith, his occupation was listed as traveller. Not professionally sure, and that's all we know about him.
I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor.
Good. Mr. Wright?
Yes?
7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch.
Christoph Gavin
Was a man of much significance to me, both as a friend and as a... He was extremely talented, to be sure. I needed 2 things before I could confront him. The first was a place where no injustice would be tolerated, his courtroom. The second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo.
Me?
This is a dark time for our legal system. Twisting of fate, twisting of justice brought on by our very own initial trial system. We have to set it right.
Mr. Wright?
Our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. Well, this seems like a good time to announce verdict. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty! Court is adjourned.
April 20, 4:28 p.m.
Thanks, Apollo. You came through just like I thought. Pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was you who called Mr. the killer. Couldn't have done it by myself. You sensed it too today, didn't you? Your ability. Ability? Yes, the sensitivity I lack. You'll come to understand it soon enough. Wait, I wonder if he means... What was that, Mr. Wright? You'll have to find the answer to that question yourself. The answer? Right, today was full of questions were answers. Most of them about Mr. Gavin. What possible reason could he have had to commit murder? Perhaps you will learn that in the days to come. Wait, you don't know, do you? This locket is the key. Huh? Oh, that reminds me. I met the girl whose picture is in your locket. Your daughter, right? That's right, she's my daughter. You know, you were right about this locket. Eh? I took this off his neck the night he died, but it looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. So the truth is, this locket really did belong to him. Wait, but that's perjury! You testified, you said that locket was yours. I said no such thing, actually. Huh? I merely said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside. Subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth. Wait, but that... why? Why was the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside it? Sometimes the straightest path to the truth isn't the best one. Good time. You're still getting started with your career. Speaking of which, maybe I'll have a job. I work for Gavin Law Offices. Still can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get out of the way. And Divine Code Law Offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it. Can't imagine that to be true, but... Wait, but didn't you... You're not... Oh, I turned in my badge, yes. I'm not an attorney anymore. That incident 7 years ago. That legendary trial. And that in the middle of it all was one man. Phoenix Wright. The case reached a sad conclusion, and he left all for good. Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. Didn't you notice in today's trial, there was a single piece of forged evidence? Forged evidence? What are you talking about? I'm talking about evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick. A piece of evidence struck me as odd, it's true. It seemed, well, too perfect. I bet this was the forged evidence.
Take that!
You mean this, don't you? I got this from your daughter, Miss Wright. Yes, that card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left. Leaving the wrong card in its place, looking for us. The court can't accept this as evidence as a fraud. My verdict was handed down 7 years ago. Then you really... Yes, I forged this card. One look at the crime scene should have told you it wasn't real. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney. They're just calling themselves an attorney, Apollo. So it's true. The rumour is true. 7 years ago. None of that matters much now, does it? I punched him. So you're sorry from here on out, Apollo? Perhaps I can help you to the next page. My office's address. Drop in if you like. Mr. Wright. Oh, about your uppercut. Try yelling. Take that next time. Find the packs a little more punch. And Apollo, thanks for today. Had a good time. And with that, Mr. Wright walked out the door. And that's how my first trial ended. A lot of mysteries went unsolved. And at the time, I had no idea they were all related. We missed you that day, connected by a single thread of logic.